So please put your hands together and keep them together until she reaches the stage. Alice Denny!
Everyone, that's cheered me up. I'm in a foul mood. I'm not going to go on about why I'm in a foul mood. But I really want to do this particular poem. It's only a short poem, but there's a preamble to it. Some of you know that I've had some contact with dissidents in Russia, and I'm not very happy about English football players playing in the World Cup in Russia, or anyone else that comes to that matter. One of the last messages I had from my dissident friend in Russia was, "Dear Alice, thank you so much for the message. I apologise. Everyone I knew previously, inspirational and full of life and energy, are now tired and leaving. My best friend is seeking political asylum in Germany after Russian police refused to investigate several homophobic attacks on him. I visited him in a small village 30 miles away from Berlin this May. He is very depressed, but I'm not going to come back to Russia. And my other friends have gave up participating in any public political activity since the passage of the new law that says you can go to prison for up to 5 years if you were detained, blah, 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 blah. There are 3 people under trial for breaking this law. And it goes on to say that they've moved all of their venues, all of the gay venues and bars have been moved, but the police find out and they have to move them again. So the social life is closed down. And it just so happened that I don't know if anyone's reads Diva. Does anyone read Diva? This month, this lady, I don't know if you can see that picture. Rather nice looking butch lesbian. I can say that because she admits it in here. Interviewed somebody else I had the pleasure of meeting a few years ago, called Masha Gessin. Has anyone ever heard of Masha Gessin? I can't find the bloody interview now, and I just wanted to read a couple of things from that, which is, the interviewer says, so, to be clear, it's not unusual experience. That's a day-to-day occurrence. What would happen to me if I went to Russia tomorrow? I was warned about not going to Russia, by the way. You'd probably get the shit beaten out of you the first time you stepped out onto the street, just by looking like this. Yes. And it goes on to say how everyone's been beaten up, imprisoned and murdered, and how women and men are being murdered in Chechnya and no one's doing sweet FA about it. So I want to tell you this poem. They're cleaning the streets in Chechnya, sweeping us up, keeping us hidden, binned within fences. In this land that can only look hopelessly backwards, people like us are attacked and redacted, gathered and herded, tortured and murdered, not for committing offences, except for the crimes of just being ourselves, exhibiting difference, being defenceless. The streets are still covered in dog shite, strewn with discarded detritus of the thoughtless, the tourists and those who despise us. Nobody seems to be listening. In this country where hundreds of young men go missing and women thrust love for each other inside them for fear of detection, correction or beatings, there's no justice, no trust in this system, and ordinary lives have no meaning on streets where the poor feast on crusts and are pissing in gutters. Nobody dares make a fuss, or even cares enough. For our streets, at least, are clean of us.